Okay, so those worked examples were pretty straightforward. So how about we up the ante a little bit and have a go at these following questions.
Okay, so as you can see for these ones where it says solve for x, we've actually upped the ante, if you will. So there's a few little steps that you need to remember in order to answer these questions. The first one is this. 1. Eliminate fractions by multiplying everything by the denominators. 2. Transpose the equations to get all x's on one side of the equal sign. Doesn't matter what side it is, left or right. And 3. Write out the story of what is happening to the x and work backwards just like we did before. Right, so the first question says 4x minus 3 is equal to 3 bracket 6 minus x. Well, are there any fractions here? No, there's not. So now what we need to do is just expand and move the x's around. So you get 4x minus 3 is equal to 18 minus 3x. Right, move the x's around. So to move the minus 3x, we're going to move it over here. So to move the minus 3, we're going to add it. So you get plus 3x and plus 3x. Ends up with 7x minus 3 is equal to 18, and the negative 3x and the plus 3x cancels out. Okay, so all of a sudden we can now write out our story of what's happening to the x. First of all, it's being multiplied by 7, then it's being subtracted by 3. Write the opposites now, plus 3 and divide by 7. Magic arrow going up, so we add 3 to both sides. End up with 7x equals 18 plus 3 is 21. Divide both sides by 7. You get x is equal to 21 divided by 7 is 3. Therefore, x is equal to 3. Right, this question here, well, we can see that 9x plus 3 over 2 and 13x plus 7 over 3, there's fractions there, so what we need to do is we need to eliminate the fractions. To do that, we're going to multiply both sides by 2. When we do that, the 2's are going to cancel out here, right, and we're going to write the 2 in brackets here. So you get 9x plus 3 on its own here is equal to 2 bracket 13x plus 7 over 3, right, because we multiply the top part by 2. Now what we need to do is we need to multiply both sides by 3. So right, times 3 and times 3, which that's going to be 3 bracket 9x plus 3, because we're multiplying the whole lot, is equal to, the 3 is going to cancel out, so you get 2 bracket 13x plus 7. Now it's a matter of expanding the brackets, so you end up getting 27x plus 9 is equal to 26x plus 14. Right, let's rearrange. Let's subtract 26x over here to move it over to the other side, so minus 26x here as well. Ends up getting us x plus 9. These will cancel out, is equal to 14. Right, just write the story of what's happening to the x now, so it's just been added 9. So we're going to subtract 9, magic arrow, which we don't really need because there's one step, minus 9, minus 9. You end up getting x, the 9's cancel out, is equal to 14 minus 9 is 5. Alright, finally, part C says 3 minus x over 4 is equal to 9x plus 7 over 10 plus 1. What we need to do is we need to, of course, once again get rid of these fractions because they're ugly and we don't like them. So to do that, we're going to multiply everything by 4. So times by 4, times by 4, and times by 4. It's even including the 1 here. So the 4 and the 4 will cancel out, so you end up getting 3 minus x is equal to 4 times 9 is 36, x plus 7 over 10 plus 4. Right, we still have the 10 here though, which is quite ugly, so we're going to multiply everything by 10. So times by 10, even this side here as well, times by 10, and this one here times by 10. So you're going to get 10 bracket 3 minus x is equal to, well, the 10s here are going to cancel out, so 36 bracket x plus 7 plus 4 times 10 is 40. Right, let's go through and do this now. So you got 10 times 3 is 30, minus 10x is equal to 36x, because 36 times x is 36x. 36 times 7 is 252. If you don't believe me, check it out on your calculator. And plus 40. Let's combine these two terms here at the end. So you get 30 minus 10x is equal to 36x plus 252 plus 40 is plus 292. Alright, let's move some things around now. So we're going to add 10x here to move it over to this side, just make it a little bit easier. So you're going to go plus 10x to move it over, and plus 10x ends up getting us 30, these will cancel out, is equal to 46x plus 292. Okay, so now let's write out the equation of what's happening to the x. So it's saying times by 46 first, and then add 292. So it then becomes minus 292, and divide by 46. So minus 292 first, minus 292. We'll end up getting us negative 262 is equal to 46x. Now divide both sides by 46. You'll therefore get negative 131 on 23 is equal to x, because we cancel down by a factor of 2, and of course 23 is a prime number, so therefore it can't go any further. So therefore x is equal to negative 131 over 23. Okay, so now it's time to press pause and solve these questions. Once again, when you're finished, make sure you press play again to see my solutions. Okay, as you can see for question 1, what I need to do is I need to get rid of the 9, so multiply both sides by 9, leaving us with this answer here. Now the 2 times 9 goes 18 here, that's where the 18's come from. Alright, now what you can see is I then wanted to get rid of the 5, so multiply both sides by 5, putting the brackets there, and that got rid of the 2 5's here, as you can see. Alright, then I just expanded the brackets, so got 5x plus 50, and 18 times 7, 126, 18 times negative 3 is negative 54x. Okay, I then moved the negative 54 over by adding 54. I always want to make the x's positive, it just makes one less step of working out. Okay, so that ends up with 59x plus 50 was equal to 126. You minus the 50 off both sides, giving us 59x equals 76, and then x is equal to 76 divided by 59. You can't cancel that down any further. So this is the solution, therefore remember to leave your answer as a fraction. Part B, well, once again I need to get rid of the fractions on the bottom because they're ugly, so I multiply everything by 5 first of all. That of course got rid of this and left me with 5 out the front of this bracket, and 5 times 1 was of course 5. Then I want to get rid of the 4, so I multiplied everything by 4, even including the constant over here. Okay, that took me to getting the 4 out the front, and then obviously the 4 cancelled out down the bottom, and 5 times 4 was 20. Expanded the brackets, got me this answer here. Okay, and then I just moved the x's around by subtracting 24x over to here, making sure I ended up with a positive x then. Okay, so that ended up with being x, and 28 and 25, so I subtracted 25 over to here, leaving with x equals 3.
Alright guys, now it's time to apply what we've just learned to linear inequations. Just remember there is one slight difference though, and that is whenever you multiply or divide by a negative, you flip the direction of the inequation symbol.
Uh-oh, we now have a new problem here, and that's now solving linear inequations. That's when we use these greater than or equal to or less than signs, for example. Now, they're very similar to solving normal linear equations, except for a couple of points. These are: 1, we would use the same process as what you would use to solve linear equations, so that's everything that we've just been doing. And 2, except for when we multiply or divide by a negative. In this case, we flip the direction of the greater or less than symbol. For example, this one here, when we divide by a positive or negative, will become this there. Alright, so let's have a look at question A. 6x minus 7 is greater than or equal to 3x plus 5. First of all, we want to get all the x's on one side, so let's do that by subtracting 3x here and 3x here. These 3x's will cancel out, so you end up getting 3x minus 7 is greater than or equal to 5. Okay, so now what we want to do is the same as always, where we've been solving equations. So that is write down the story of what's happening to the x. So first of all, it's being multiplied by 3, and then subtract 7. So we add 7 and divide by 3. Magic arrow time. So add 7, negative 7 and the 7 will cancel out, leaving us with 3x is greater than or equal to 12. Okay, tick that off to say it's done. Then divide by 3, x therefore is equal to greater than or equal to 4. Noting that because it's a positive 3, we do not flip the direction of the sign. Alright, let's have a go at this one now. It's got negative 3m plus 5 is less than or equal to 7. Right, so the first thing that's happening to the m is we are multiplying it by a negative 3, and then we add 5. Right, write the opposites now, minus 5, and divide by negative 3. Draw the magic arrow, so we minus 5 first of all, minus 5, minus 5. 5 minus 5 is cancelled out, so you get negative 3m is less than, negative 7 minus 5 is negative 12. Alright, divide by the negative 3 now, divide by negative 3, and divide by negative 3. Now when we divide by the negative 3, this symbol here ends up facing the other direction, so we're going to do that first of all. Alright, negative 3 and negative 3 will cancel out, and then you get negative 12 divided by negative 3 is positive 4. So, like I said, once again, when we divide by the -3 or we multiply by a negative, what we need to do is flip the direction of this symbol. Everything else is the same. Okay, so now it's time to press pause once again and attempt the following questions. Remember, once you've done, press play again to check them against my solutions. Alright, so let's have a look at some key elements here. Remember to make sure you write out the story of what's happening to the x, then use the magic arrow to go through and follow these steps. You'll end up getting an answer down to this one here, which is x is less than or equal to -31/3. The bit where some people may have gone wrong is when you divide by the -3, you need to make sure that you change the direction of the symbol. Alright, part B, the first step that we needed to do was obviously get rid of the fractions because they're ugly, so I multiplied both sides by 3. 3 times a 2 got a 6 here. Now if you can see, you got the 6/6 here, which we can actually just cancel out straight away, so we don't need to multiply by that 6 again. Right, that ended up getting us 4 minus x, which is this part here, over x plus 1 because 6 is cancelled out. Then it's just a matter of simply rearranging things and using the story of what happens to the x in order to get 3/2 is less than or equal to x. If I wanted to write it as x at the beginning, I would write x is greater than or equal to 3/2, remembering that basically the crocodile wants to be eating the x. The crocodile here is still eating the x.
Woo! Yeah, that's right, guys. High five, we did it. Yep, we were able to solve for each of the pronumerals in every single problem that got thrown our way. Now, how did we do it? Of course, we wrote out the story and we figured out what happened to the x first before we even got stuck into the problem. It's kind of like making a plan, and it's extremely important to do that for the next lesson when we're going to be learning all about how to rearrange equations and substitute into them. Now, can I just say, before we go any further, thank you so much for tuning into today's lesson. Make sure that you do continue to tune into the rest of them, and of course, have a go at the questions from 1A, because it's really important that you understand how to do all this. Alright, like always, say hi to your maths teacher for me. Morty out.